I just sat here today and listened to a NPR broadcast. It's from June 11th, 2020. And they were referring to the issue of churches. White church needs to be more accepting of black parishioners. Now, that is so many balls of yarn all wrapped up into one big ball of yarn. And I'm going to touch on that for a second. Now, here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. I am a so-called, what people will refer to as a black man. I don't refer to myself as a black man personally myself. You know, you can refer to me as an original man. You can refer to me as a lot of different things, but definitely not no black man. I'm not a color. You know, it doesn't notate any kind of nationality. Doesn't notate anything positive in my view. But moving forward, here's the reality. When you get down to the brass tacks of things, of racism and the mechanisms to support racism, the most important concept that you need to understand, and I'm talking to black folks, so-called black folks, racism is really nationalism. It's when you're all about your people, you're all about your country, your interests. And when you become more about your interests, your nation, your city, your community, it becomes apparent. And then when it becomes apparent to other people, they can deem you as a racist. But let's get to the realization of it. Racism is an improper name. It's an improper name. What it is that cultures all around the world, throughout time, history, have all dealt with the interests of their own people, their own state, you see, their own country. This is what people do. And what happens is that the other people around you will feel some kind of disrespect, and then they will go off and fall back into their culture, their flag, their people. And they will say, whatever, that's just them. I work on my own. But this, utopian, deal where they think everybody's going to come together and hold hands and sing, Sesame Street songs is unintelligible. I can't see any kind of logic in that, short of delusional. White people don't like black people. Black people don't like white people. And everybody else is one and the same in that ideology and understanding. No one likes no one when it comes down to it. If you put a microphone in people's car and you hear how many times people say, the most racist, foul shit right there behind the wheel of their car or on their couch, everyone, it would be clear. You would force people to be honest about it. And I think that's what people are missing. You see, they're missing the fact that when you're driving down the road and you see a Toyota driving like, a snail, you're going to instantly say, look at these Chinamans, or look at these Asians driving like they can't drive, these squinty-eyed so-and-so, they can't even drive. Or when you see a big lifted pickup truck with a NASCAR sticker on it, you're going to say, look at these hillbillies. See, all these are derogatory terms to describe a people and a culture. And we all use them. The problem is that some of us have more power and some of us don't. But when it comes down to us as a people, so-called black people, our culture is broken. Our culture, when you turn the radio on and you listen to what's being said. Listen to what's being insinuated. And then you look at the world around you, the majority of people don't want to be bothered with that. So-called black folks don't even want to be bothered with rapists. They don't want to be bothered with murderers. They don't want to be bothered with thieves. They don't want to be bothered with criminals. You see what I mean? Why? Because it tears up your society. It tears up your community. It causes a lot of problems. You see? You can't do business with people like that. You see? And when you're dealing with people who don't think like that, outwardly think like that, like how we outwardly manifested in our music and our so-called art, just turn on your local radio. Turn on your local hip-hop and R&B station, your urban station as they call it. That's all you're going to hear. People won't be bothered with that. So if people were forced, so-called black people are forced to deal with their own mess, it would be a civil war amongst us. There's the ones who, there are those who are completely ignorant. You know, they're the character known as a nigger. That's who they are. That's what they manifest themselves as. That's how they carry themselves. That character versus the character of the African American, you know, the so-called black people who went and fought for the civil rights that we have, the civil rights that others exploit. You know, the homosexuals and the pedophiles, they run around and they've been doing that for years, taking our rights that we fought and died for. Our ancestors went and fought for other flags, meaning this United States of American flag, and other countries, and murdered and killed and then bombed and shot Nazis and whoever the hell else got in our way, you know, hence Harlem Hellfighters, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then come back to the United States and get killed and get marginalized and get all of those civil rights which we fought for totally deleted, totally just, you know, just deleted, violated, destroyed. And then we have the race of people who sit on the sub race of people who sit on the side of it and enjoy it. See, those are the useless eaters. Those are the niggers. You see? But see, that's a concept that we don't want to deal with. But we want everyone to accept us and say, well, yeah, you know, we should be able to do this. We should be able to do that. No. When you enter a room, your race enters with you. Your gender enters with you. You see, the culture of which you come from enters with you. Your education enters with you. You see? So when this happens, if you have made it a moniker of who you are and where you come from, being this of criminal behavior, people don't want to be bothered with you. They just don't. And when you guys wake up in the morning until the time you go to bed at night, all you're listening to is criminal stuff. Criminal stuff. People can say what they wish, think what they will. It is criminal. Turn the radio on, your urban radio stations, and just write down or print out the lyrics and take a highlighter and go across it. And then you will see all of the crimes, all of the immoral acts. And then these same people who, we just listening to it. That's real. That's what goes on in the hood. Exactly. So if you know it, other people know it. They don't want to be bothered with you. And for you to ask them to infect their community with that, they're going to laugh at you. They're going to say, hell no, we don't want to do with you. So I'm going to wrap this up in these final words. We got to clean up our own house. We got to get all rid of our niggas like other cultures get rid of their niggas. See, the very extremely ignorant people, the useless eaters, the bottom feeders, the people who just don't seem to want to get right. We got to get rid of them. And I ain't saying kill them, but I ain't saying not kill them either. See, I'm saying do whatever is necessary and appropriate for the situation. We have to do these things. And I'm saying that because, case in point, Dylan Roof came into a black church, prayed, sat down with a bunch of black people. And then when he did that, he then eventually turned around and killed and blew those black people's brains out. Elders did all of these things. And what did black folks do the next day? They forgave him. They said, oh, he was misled. They said all kind of excuses for him, right? Then when the police finally caught up with him, they didn't throw him on the ground or shoot him. They put a bulletproof vest on him, gave him some water, got him something to eat, and then took him to jail. Versus you, on the other hand, you go to the store to buy something, and they allege that you had a fake $20 bill, never been convicted in a court of law, because you never made it to a court of law to be convicted of anything, because they killed you on the street. You walk in to go get a bag of Skittles and some iced tea, and they kill you. Some strange citizen comes up and thinks you're a criminal, and you end up dead. You go to a pool, you go to anywhere, any of your day-to-day, and you get stopped and harassed by these police officers. But these police officers are there for what? To fight crime. Is the lights coming on yet? Then you have our youth who are so misled and ill-advised that they go out and they actually tell a standing mayor to get rid of the police department that is there because of your criminal behavior, your thought process, your culture. You see, we need to clean up our own before we ask anyone to accept us. We need to clean up our own before anyone comes into our community and does business with us. We need to clean up our own before we do anything. We have to clean up our own shit, because as wrong as these people are, as foul and as evil as they are, we give them every fucking stick to hit us in the head with. And I'm going to leave on that note that you cannot give people a stick to hit you in the head with. I was raised under that moniker, that ideology. You don't give somebody something to hit you in the head with. You display this dysfunction for the world to see, and then you get mad because this dysfunction is dysfunctional, and they recognize it, and they just choose not to deal with it. It's the same thing with us. We can choose not to deal with it, or we can choose to deal with it. Is our race gone? Yeah, our race is gone. Going backwards. It's going backwards, and we can't accept that no more. We can't accept our youth making a damn fool out of us, because that embarrasses us older people too. I'm in my early 40s, so I'm a late 70s baby. And I know the things that I was told when I was growing up. And I know the things that I was listening to and not listening to. And I know the things that I should have and could have, would have did. Could have done differently. See, I know what works and what don't work. But the youth, they're so far off base. When I was that age, I didn't think like that. I knew that there's certain things were just stupid. And it was unintelligible. But this generation seems to think that there's something to celebrate, something to be proud of. It's nothing to be proud of, for all of the stuff that's going on. Like I say, just turn the radio on. What do we hear? We hear people endorsing and insinuating rape, murder, selling of drugs, thieving, stealing stuff. Just being criminals. Now, you want to be around somebody like that? I would say no. And if you think that's a joke, go in the hood and see how many millionaires live in the hood. Legitimate millionaires, business people, people who are however they got it, legitimate millionaires and billionaires that live in a ghetto. They don't live in the ghetto. They don't live around the rest of us because of our thinking. Why would I want to, as much money as I've accumulated and much wealth as I've accumulated over my lifetime, why in the hell would I want to live next to somebody who's actually cool with killing and stealing and, you know, and just being an asshole to somebody like myself for no other reason than that's just the way they are. That's the culture that they decide to live in. It's pointless. And even in those songs that I'm talking about, they want to get their mama out the hood. You know, we make so many, our whole race is damn near a race of bastards. Just about all of us. That's by design, of course. But we see, the thing is we do these things. You see, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg said that he wasn't going to, he was going to donate money to the Trump campaign to get reelected. Home Depot, same thing. Now, all of these people have problems with Trump. They talk about how racist Trump is, but they take their ass right there on Facebook. They're going to take their ass right there to Home Depot, and they're going to do business with these people who do not like you, do not respect you, but you're going to say they racist. You see, the churches sit on every damn corner. As ignorant as that pastor is to sit up there and hoot and holler and take your money and run right to the suburbs because his kids don't go to school with your kids. See what I'm saying? His house is not in your neighborhood. And if it is, it's the biggest and it's the nicest house in your neighborhood. It's probably attached to the church to watch it, keep y'all from breaking in there and stealing shit. You see? It's the hypocrisy, the blatant hypocrisy and ignorance that we manifest outwardly. Day-to-day life has got people hating us. And we need to stand up and say something about it and say, no, y'all are wrong. And this is where you're wrong at. For these acts, you are barred from representing us in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Period. Clean up your house, man. Clean up your house, man, because if you don't, you cannot expect anyone else to come and clean up your house. You can't expect anything but a bunch of shit coming your way. So on that note, I wish y'all peace. And I wish y'all love. I wish y'all happiness. I wish y'all prosperity. I wish y'all knowledge, wisdom, understanding, eventually one day, power. Peace.